Hello and welcome to the Al Monitor Brief. It's April 25th. I'm Kristen Tallman. Today's main segment is a conversation with Al Monitor's associate editor, Ezgi Akin, on This Week in Turkish Foreign Politics, from donor diplomacy to NATO demands. But first, let's get you caught up on the headlines. More than 100 people were arrested Wednesday at two universities in California and Texas. Officials said after pro-Palestinian protest erupted across U.S. campuses this week. In France, French police broke up a pro-Palestinian protest by dozens of university students in Paris. Hamas officials say the group will lay down its arms if an independent Palestinian state is established. A suspected Israeli drone attack in eastern Lebanon on Thursday left one person injured as fighting between the Iran-backed Hezbollah movement and Israel escalate, with both sides striking deeper inside the respective territories. Turkey's central bank kept interest rates at 50% despite rising inflation. U.S.-led coalition forces shot down 4 drones and an anti-ship missile launched by Yemen's Houthi rebels, American authorities said Thursday. Iranian rapper Tomaj Salehi was sentenced to death in relation to the 2022 anti-government protests in Iran. In the latest sign of friction between the Biden administration and the Israeli government, the State Department on Wednesday voiced concern over a report that Israel's far-right foreign minister is seeking to legalize dozens of outposts in the occupied West Bank. Palestinian militant group Hamas released Wednesday a video of an Israeli-American man held hostage in Gaza who was seen alive and saying that the captives are living in hell. And on a lighter note, cat lovers in Turkey were uplifted this week by this week's news that the country's endangered fawn species hailing from the province bordering Iran are multiplying in even greater numbers. Now, on to the main segment. Hey, Ezgi. Welcome to the Al Monitor Brief.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Ezgi, it's been quite a week for Turkish politics, as ever. First, Erdogan started his week in Baghdad and then welcomed German President Steinmeier Wednesday and is going to be welcoming Dutch Prime Minister Rutte on Friday. Let's start with Turkey's thoughts on the next NATO chief and their bid in picking the candidate. You did some really good reporting this week on the behind-the-scenes requests from Ankara before signing off on Rutte. Can you fill us in on the background?
First of all, thank you so very much. And of course, Rutte is the frontrunner to replace the current NATO chief, Jens Stoltenberg, whose term will end in October. And Turkey is among 4 NATO members that hasn't endorsed the Dutch Prime Minister's bid yet. So the European leader, Rutte, will seek Erdogan's support for his bid during their talks on Friday, which will be held in Istanbul. One of the potential Turkey requests that stands out on the matter is a pro-Kurdish news website based in Amsterdam. Fırat News Agency is known to have close ties with the outlaw PKK, which has been fighting for Kurdish self-rule inside Turkey and is considered a terror outfit by the majority of Western capitals. At this point, worth mentioning, a similar demand by Turkey was met more than a decade ago when talks between Ankara and European capitals were talking over the former NATO chief, Anders Fogh Rasmussen's bid to become the next NATO chief. Turkey at the time asked for the closure of Denmark-based Roche TV, and a year after Rasmussen, who was then Danish Prime Minister, the media outlet was indicted and subsequently was shut down. This happened after Rasmussen became the NATO chief.
Okay, so this is something that Turkey has requested before. It seems like they've been successful, and their endorsement, with Rutte, they might have a similar request.
Yes, I can say that this is one of the most likely Turkey requests from Rutte. I also think it's worth mentioning that usually the shopping lists for the NATO posts involves potential NATO commands or high-level posts within the alliance. But according to sources who briefed me, the Turkish side hasn't tabled such demand, at least for now. For example, such a post within NATO or a NATO command for now.
Right. It's a very specific issue they're going after with this, potentially with the new site in the Netherlands versus something military related, which NATO has to do with. And on a lighter note, Ezgi, but nevertheless divisive, German President Steinmeier brought a donor chef with him to his visit to Ankara. This presumably was showcasing Turkish talent back home in Deutschland, nodding to the decades of history between the two nations. But can you talk us through how this was viewed in Turkey? And it seemed like it sparked quite the commentary online.
Yes, so Steinmeier was in Turkey to mark the centennial of the diplomatic ties between Turkey and Germany. Thus, his visit was laden with symbolism. And Germany's nearly 4 million Turkish diaspora, as you know, Kristen, represent one of the strongest ties between the two countries. So Steinmeier's delegation included prominent Turkish-German businessmen, politicians, and also Arif Keleş, a döner kebab shop owner, because döner kebab shops owned by Turks are quite common in Germany, as we know. So Steinmeier's video slicing döner kebab along with Arif Keleş sparked some backlash within social media circles. Some social media users accused the German leader of subscribing to stereotypes about Turks living in Germany. Steinmeier, in turn, today hit back at those criticisms, saying Germany has a diverse Turkish society and that Keleş is also a part of that diversity, which is true. But that society also includes prominent scientists, for example, who developed the COVID vaccine, or leading artists, as many Turkish German journalists as well as analysts pointed out.
Yeah. Fascinating. The German-Turkish version of döner is certainly delicious. But Ezgi, thank you so much for joining and filling us in.
Thank you so very much once again for having me.
That's it for today, April 25th. You can read all these stories and more impacting the region at allmonitor.com.